What's up guys? Today, I'll show you how to recreate this cool transformer transition effect, popularized by one of the famous car edits content creator on Instagram, jry.media. So I'm gonna use these two project clips to do the transformer transition effect. Ideally, in order for this effect to work well, these two clips should be kind of similar like angle and composition. First thing that I'm gonna do is duplicate the first clip by pressing Ctrl D, go to the last frame, right click, go to time, then freeze frame. This will now freeze the duplicate clip. Let's move the second clip here, so that we can have some space for the freeze frame. Now, move the cursor 30 frames forward by pressing Ctrl Shift right arrow 3 times on the keyboard, then drag the freeze frame, then the second clip here. Then we can now cut the freeze frame here. Now, I'm gonna cut out the subject in the frame. To do that, go to Pen tool. Then draw and cut around the car. As you can see, the car is now cut out from the frame. To smoothen the edges of these points, press M twice, then change the value of mask feather into 5. Now, select the freeze frame. Duplicate it by pressing Ctrl D. Then I'm gonna hide the one on the bottom, to retain the original cutout clip in case we got messed up. Now, on this duplicate clip, we're gonna delete the mask, then start to mask out different objects from the car. The idea is to mask and start cutting the car into separate parts. I'm gonna start from front then going back. Now that we already cut out the first part of the car, press M on the keyboard twice to reveal the mask properties. Then change mask feather value into 5. Next, duplicate the clip, then delete all the masks, select the pen tool and start to cut out another part of the car. I'm just gonna repeat this process until the car has been divided into all of its component pieces. This step takes some time, so I'm gonna fast forward now, so that you won't get sleepy watching the same things again and again. Now that we have already finished cutting out all the car parts, it's now time to animate all of these objects to create a transforming effect. To do that, select all these car parts layers, press P on the keyboard, go to first frame of the first clip, then create a position keyframes. Then go to the end frame of the first clip, create another position keyframes. Next, select the keyframes of bottom clip, then go to Wiggler panel. If you don't see it, simply go to Window, then enable Wiggler. On Wiggler setting, select Spatial Path, Smooth, all independently, Frequency, 2, which is the number of shakes to create over time, and Magnitude, 300, which is the shake intensity, then hit Apply. As you can see, the first car part is now animated. Next, I'm just gonna repeat this step on the other layers as well. Now that all the car parts are animated, I'm now just gonna offset all of these layers, so that they won't disappear on the same periods. Next, select all these layers and pre-compose to look organized. Now, I'm just gonna repeat the process on the second clip. And now we have here the second clip already animated. I'll pre-compose all the layers, then time reverse layer. This makes all the parts come together at the end of the animation, which makes the transition seamless. Next, I'll simply put this on top of the first pre-composed layers, so all of the car parts combine together and create transforming effect. As you can see, we already achieved the effect. But we lost the background of each clip during the transforming transition. To fix that, we'll simply add the background with the subject removed, and for this, I'm gonna use Photoshop. But before we do that, let's first save the last frame of the first video clip and first frame of the second video clip. To do that, place the timeline indicator over it, then go to Composition, Save Frame as, File, Save. For the render settings, select full and best quality, then OK. For output module, set it to JPEG sequence, then OK. For the output, set it to the folder where you want to save the image. I'm gonna rename it Clip 1, hit Save, then Render. Next, I'm gonna use Photoshop to open the Clip 1 image which we have saved. You can also use other methods like AI editing tools online. Now, with the Clip 1 image open, using Lasso tool, I'm gonna create a rough outline around the car. Right-click. Then Content-Aware Fill. This will remove the car and replace it with similar image content from surrounding parts of the photo. You can also refine the photo by using the Patch tool. Once done, go to File, Export, Export As, then click Export. Once already exported, you can now import the other image and do the same step. Once done, go back to After Effects and let's now import the clean plates that we created. I'm gonna drag the clean plate 1 below the pre-composed layers, cut it right here. Then cut it also on the other side. Now, to make the effect sell even more, I'm gonna add the car frame I downloaded online. I'll put the link in the description. As you can see, its orientation doesn't match that of our car in the clip. To fix that, simply go to Layer, Transform, then flip horizontal. Now, just resize the car frame to match the look and size of the car in the clip. I'm gonna put this below the pre-composed layers, create a position keyframe to animate the car frame going up. Then I'll give it some shake effect. Alt left click on the position, add wiggle expression, 1,40. Color correct the car frame to blend it with the environment. To do that, I'm gonna add a lumetri color. Play with the basic correction setting until you achieve the look that you want. For me, this now looks pretty good. Now, we're gonna add some shadows below the car during the animation. To do that, add a solid black layer, rename it as shadow, hide the layer for the meantime. Then draw a rough mask around these areas, reveal the solid layer. Change the blending mode to multiply, press M twice to reveal the mask setting, then change the feather setting into around 219, then put the shadow layer below the pre-composed layers. Now, reduce the opacity into around 75%, then change its position until it fits with the scene. Refine it by playing with the value of mask feather and its location. For me this now looks good. Next, we can now drag the clean plate 2 above the clean plate 1 layer, cut it here, and on this part. Now, we're gonna split this clean plate 2 into different parts to transition to second clip. To do that, with the clean plate 2 selected, go to Pen tool, cut out this area below, feather it into about 52, duplicate the clean plate, remove all masks, cut out another part right here. Then simply repeat the step on other parts of the clean plate 2. Once done, select all clean plate 2 layers, create a position keyframe, drag it all the way to the end of the layers, select the clean plate 2 below, drag it outside the screen like this, and do the same steps to other clean plate 2 layers, then ease the keyframes. Okay, looking better. Next, we can now add some shake effect. Let's pre-compose all the layers, but before we do that, let's unlock these 2 layers, then pre-compose. Go to a point where the transforming effect starts. Then add adjustment layer. Cut it here, then cut it on this part where the effect ends. Add a transform effect. Rename this layer as shake. Alt left click on the position, then type wiggle, 7,35. Our scene has now a shake effect. To remove this black space around the frame, select the pre-compose layer, then add motion tile. Change the value of output width and height into 150. Then check mirror edges. Cool. Next, I'm gonna add an adjustment layer, name it as motion blur, then add force motion blur effect. Change the blur samples into 15. Perfect. Now, to make the effect more seamless, I'm gonna add some dust particles. I also link it in the description. Drag it into the timeline, resize it until it fits the frame, rotate it into 90 degrees, so that the smoke goes up, resize it again to fit the screen, go to the part where the smoke rises up, then cut the clip, drag it here, change the blend mode into screen. The smoke is nice but it doesn't really look like part of the scene, so to fix that, we're gonna track it into the scene. Now, I'm gonna hide first the smoke layer, add a null object, select the pre-composed layer, Go to Tracker panel, then hit Track Motion. The tracker point will appear. Put it into the part of the screen where there is a lot of contrast, so I'm gonna place it here, then hit Analyze. Once done, click Edit Target, OK, Apply, OK. This will now apply the tracking points data into the null object. Now, parent the smoke layer into the null object. As you can see, the smoke layer is now tracked into the scene. Let's disable first the motion blur so we can preview the scene better. Resize the smoke layer to fit the frame, then change blending mode into screen, select the smoke layer, then using the pen tool create a mask over this area to hide the smoke until the transforming effect starts, then using the mask path keyframing, gradually reveal the smoke once the effect starts to take place. I'm gonna position the keyframe here at the start of the effect. Then add an opacity keyframe from 0 to 100 to gradually reveal the smoke into the scene. Refine the smoke effect by changing the position of the mask points until it looks better. I'm gonna apply lumetri color to the smoke. Now, to make it blend into the scene, play with the value of basic correction setting like exposure, temperature, shadows and highlights, and now let's enable the motion blur to make the effect look better. And there you go. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next video.